Holy Land Uncovered, Emily Francis. Emily, as we saw here, and it really shone through in this bit of the report, you knew her on a personal level here, and I think for many years, these Jewish roots, I mean, you discovered revealed, I should say, some fascinating sides about her. Tell us about her.
She, first of all, it's such sad news. You know, I woke up this morning with all these messages from people that knew that I knew her. I mean, imagine being a kid at the height of Greece, I'm aging myself, and she was my next door neighbor. So I not only knew her as a child, but then fast forward to my TV career in New York, all of a sudden, here I have a chance to interview her, and we reconnected and became friends as adults. And she is truly a remarkable woman that you just don't see people like her in the world. Like, she was the first one to go public with having cancer in the 90s. People were not talking openly. She started, like, she worked with the American Cancer Society. My mom even did some volunteer work. Like, she was a real advocate and champion for, you know, not putting a shame face on battling cancer, which came back, and that's what she was going through when I interviewed her back in 2019.
Yeah, what was her condition? I mean, we kind of get a sense that, you know, she may have been somewhat frail or whatnot, but what was the condition when you sort of met with her, sat with her in 2019? What was she going through? She was strong. You could see in the interview. She had just been in a hospital in Melbourne, where she has a cancer center in her own name in Melbourne. She'd fallen and broken her hip. So even at the time during the interview, she was battling cancer again, and her husband, John Easterling, who was her soulmate, she met him later in life. He grows cannabis. He grew all kinds of Amazon products. When I met them, he was Amazon John. So she was also proof of cannabis really working to treat cancer symptoms. And he grew all kinds of varietals. He had come to Israel. She even talked to me about wanting to be able to come to Israel herself one day, but she was game face all the time. She didn't complain. She didn't whine. She was in pain when we did the interview, and you couldn't tell, because she was such a classy woman that refused to let her physical condition get her down emotionally. And her legacy, you think, I mean, now is time to talk about that. You know, as she's passed at this point, she's leaving a strong legacy. I mean, this is clear. She made a huge impact on you.
She did, and on a lot of people. I mean, that's another thing. Something about Olivia Newton-John. She will always be Sandra Dee. She is beloved to this day. Even the piece that I did with her, again, 2019, it's had more views than any other thing I've ever done on YouTube. Like, people love her. She's timeless. And, you know, on top of that, she didn't talk very publicly about it until later, that she's actually the granddaughter of Max Born, who was Einstein's partner and won a Nobel Prize.
Very much so. A hidden sort of gem secret about her life, I guess. Emily, thanks for being with us on this. And yes, as you mentioned, that so many people around the world reacting in that guttural way to her passing today. She meant a lot.
She will be missed by everybody.
Emily Francis, thanks for bringing us the story.